Hi, welcome back to another update video. I figured I haven't done one in a while, and I've been looking for a perfect time, and well, I'm not doing anything right now. Right now we are, we've been going through, this is just the first week of the outreach phase. Let me pause. All right, guys, so catching you guys up, break was over Christmas and New Year's, and now I'm back at it. We had a training week, week 1, which was July 8th through the, I forget what it was, 8th through the 12th or something like that, where we were learning our jobs, doing run-throughs of what outreach would look like. But now we're in outreach. We're about a week and a half in-ish. But yeah, it's been amazing. So if you guys didn't know, I came back to Pennsylvania, and then I was back from around the 15th through the 7th, and then I left the 8th. And like I said, I did my my practical roles of what it looks like to be in my position. So what I do for the rallies. We go to youth high schools. So we go to high schools, Jesus clubs, and my roles are I'm part of the greeting team. I have a lot of roles. I'm part of the greeting team. I help out with merch. I help out with checking people in. I'm their stats person, so I do all the counting of people there, salvations, healings, rededications. And then I'm going to be a host here shortly, so that's introducing the night, getting the people ready for the person to do the sermon, a whole list of stuff, but just kind of getting those practicals, and then we were sent out onto the road. Like I was saying, it's been about a week and a half. We've been through about 4 states so far. I think, let me pull up my map. This is what I was trying to do before, but I kind of wanted to give you guys a little bit more background. So these are the states I'm pretty positive we've been through. So right now we're in Iowa. We're been here for about a day. We're going to a club tonight, so that's going to be great. There's going to be lots of testimonies. I think they said it's going to be a little bit of a smaller stop, but that's still good. So we've been to Iowa. We've been to Michigan. I think. Ooh, Lord help me. So we've been to, Michigan, Ohio, Illinois. I don't know if we were in Indianapolis, and now we're in Iowa. I think we were in Minnesota. We were driving through a whole bunch of states. We've done so much driving. Yesterday it was 9 hours of driving. Now we're in Iowa. We've done about 4 rallies so far, and they've been crazy. So pretty much what I'm going to do is I just want to update some of you guys. Some of my sponsors watch these videos. Some people that sponsor me, family and friends and whatnot. So you guys know I've made 2 other videos, but I was in DTS at that point. But so now I'm on tour, and so now you guys are probably wondering, what have I been doing? Well, pretty much what we do is we go to high schools, we go to their club, and we talk about our event. We tell people about the gospel. We do outreach with some of the students to equip them to become evangelists. And then we hold a rally where we do worship and we preach a message, and then we give an altar call at the end. And it's just been really powerful. I'll share with you some testimonies and some numbers because I'm the numbers guy. But it's been really, really amazing. God's been moving. I won't say that there hasn't been struggles because we're traveling frequently, every 2 days we're packing up and we're going to another state. The tour I'm on probably has one of the most stops. We're going through 12 different states. We're doing 32 different tour stops versus some people who only have half that amount. So we're definitely moving a lot. We just did our second biggest drive yesterday, which was 9 hours. Our biggest drive will be from Texas to Michigan at the end, which is going to be 18 hours. But yeah, I'll share with you guys first some numbers, and then I'll do some testimonies, and then I'll probably wrap up the video. But I would love to share with you guys some of the really cool. We get to see a lot of salvations and stuff like that. So I'll share with you guys how many salvations we saw so far and rededications, and we've seen 2 healings so far, which I didn't personally get to see, but but some of the girls on my team got to pray for some of the other girls and saw healings. But yeah, let me just pull those numbers up. Yeah, so when we've gathered in total so far, we've gathered with around almost close to 300 people, all students. So that's been really, really cool. The exact number is 286, but probably after tonight, it's going to be closer to 300. So that's been really cool. We've seen near 30 salvations just within like a week. Some stops ranging from 15 to 1 or 2, but we've seen like a lot. It's really cool. There's nothing like seeing kids' hearts open up and in their high schools, which is nuts. So we've seen it's 29 salvations, almost 30. Hopefully tonight we'll make that 30 plus, but it's been amazing. And then there's been 66 rededications and people saying that they're gonna live for the Lord, which has been really cool. We've seen 3 healings so far, and 1 spontaneous healing on the road where somebody got to pray for somebody outside of one of our events. So that's been really cool. And now, this video is probably not going to be as long as some of my other ones, but that's okay. I'll share with you guys some testimonies. One of the ones that stands out to me the most, I don't know why, but we Circuit Riders, which is our organization, partnered with another organization in Chicago. And Chicago is actually it's a big city, and that's probably where we saw the most resistance, almost like it was like some spiritual warfare kind of deal. I don't know really what it was, but I'm not a feeler. A lot of the girls on our team are, and so they were feeling a lot of the spiritual stuff. And so Chicago was a little bit harder. But needless to say, I got a really cool testimony from that night. 2, actually. So we partnered with the organization in Chicago, which helps with students and therapy and stuff like that. It's like a Christian therapy organization. It's called Shine Bright. And it was really cool. We had a worship service with them, and we preached a message there. But anyways, during that service, a mom came up, and she wanted us to pray for her 2 kids. And they were maybe 12 and below. And so we went up to them, and the one kid just said that I asked him what they went prayer for, and he said that the devil would stop attacking his mind. So we got to pray for me and my friend, me and my leader, I guess he's my friend too, but me and my leader, Logan, got to go and pray for these 2 kids. It was really cool. But then later in the night, both the kids individually came up to me and asked for more prayer, which I thought was cool that they came to me. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know what it was, but I thought it was cool. The one kid, the younger kid who's probably, 8 or something, maybe older, maybe younger, I don't know. Just asked that I could pray for him again, and that was really cool. But then the older one came up to me. He was probably 12, and I was like, hey, man, what's up? And he's like, could you, well, he actually didn't even ask for prayer, but I ended up praying for him then. But he said, what am I supposed to do when the devil attacks my mind? And I'm like, wow, that's a pretty deep question for a kid to be asking. And I was like, well, you rebuke the enemy and you speak life over yourself and you declare that the enemy has no power over your life and X, Y, and Z. And he's like, yeah, I feel like the enemy was just attacking my mind after you guys prayed for me. He's like, and it was showing me bad images. And all of a sudden it was flashing super, he was sending a bunch of images and then it all disappeared. And he's like, I feel like Jesus told me that I was never going to have to deal with those bad thoughts from the enemy ever again. I was like, wow, bro, that's so cool. And I led him through prayer, and it was really cool. And then he was like, afterwards, he's like, yeah, and how old do I have to be to join Circuit Riders? Because I really want to join. This is so cool. And I was like, you got to be 18, but maybe when you're older. So that was really cool. That warmed my heart. We got to play with them afterwards. But there was another real cool testimony from that night where one of there's a husband and a wife that run the Shine Bright ministry. And I feel like the Lord was telling me to pray for the husband of the ministry. And he was telling us in his testimony the night before when we were eating with them that he actually used to be a warlock and practice witchcraft. And then he got saved and whatnot. But I really feel like the Lord was highlighting that that was something that he was going to step into, setting people free from the stuff he went through. And specifically kids of this generation who practice witchcraft and Ouija boards, but don't really understand it. They're just oh, it doesn't really matter. They don't understand it, so who cares? And so I was just praying for him, and I was telling him that I feel like the Lord's going to really step him into using his testimony to really impact this generation. And he just starts crying, which is crazy because the night before when we were hanging out with them, he said he never cries. And his wife's like, well, you cried one time. And it was in like another country and where he really felt the presence of the Lord. And he's like crying. And I'm like, oh, wow, this must resonate with him. And so I like finished the prayer and I left. And then later that night, his wife came up to me and he's like, she was like, you have no idea how much like this prayer, like your prayer, like really confirmed some of the things we were praying into. And like, this was like confirmation of what we needed. And I was like, wow, like that's nuts. So that was really cool. And then, we were at a rally just 2 days ago. It was the largest rally we had. There was like 76 kids there. It was crazy. But before the rally started, we hung out with some of the student leaders and we did original design with them, which is pretty much telling and speaking over them what the Lord has in mind over them. So we asked the Lord what he wants to speak over each of the kids, and we'll just pray that over them. And I prayed for this one guy, and nothing really happened. I just spoke life over him and his original design and stuff like that. And then I was praying for his friend after him, and I was just speaking life over him, and that before I even spoke life over him, I felt like it was kind of weird. The Lord was saying how, like, I thought the Lord was saying that he was actually struggling in a time of, like, I don't know, anxiety and stuff like that. So it actually wasn't necessarily life at first. And I was like, man, this is a hard word to give, but I gave it to him. And he just starts crying, which is kind of different because he was like a very, he looked like a guy who wouldn't do that. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but he just starts crying. And afterwards, his friend's like, how could he have even known that? Like that, and he's like, I don't know. I have no idea. And he's like, if this isn't God, like, I don't know what is. Like, this is like proving that God exists. So I don't know if he was like doubting the existence of God, but he was like, this is exactly what I'm going through. He's like, you pretty much read my book. I was like, wow, that's crazy. So that was really cool. And his friend was like, you like, this is confirmation. And I'm like, yeah, so that was really cool. And then later that night we had the rally. And then after the rally, one of the students leaders who actually left our little meeting beforehand, he didn't get to do his original design. And one of his friends came up to me and was like, hey, he didn't get to get his original design. Can you pray over him and give it to him while we're in like a restaurant getting food? And I'm like holding my Chick-fil-A sandwich. And I'm like, yeah, bro, absolutely. I'd love to. And I asked the Lord what he wanted to speak, and I was like, man, you're a leader, like his name's Oliver. I was like, you're a leader, Oliver, and like you're chosen, and the skills the Lord gave you is for like a reason and a purpose, and don't feel disqualified because he was homeschooled. I was like, I feel like the enemy's telling you that you're disqualified and that you don't have anything to give to the kingdom. And he literally he was crying so much, and I'm like, wow, I have no idea, like this must be the Lord. And he's like, literally today, I was telling the Lord that I did not feel qualified. I did not feel like I had what it takes to be an evangelist, to be a leader. And he was just like weeping. And he was just like, this is like just what I was like asking the Lord. And I was like, man, the Lord sees you and he hears you. And so that was really cool. And I'll share one more testimony and then I'll end the video because it's around 13 minutes right now. We were in Chicago and we had the Shine Bright ministry night, and then the next night we went into a public high school in Chicago. Excuse me. We went into a public school in Chicago. It was a huge high school, and we had a lot of people show up there too. Lots of rededications there and salvations there, which was crazy. The club leader was like crying. It was so cool. Just seeing all the people there. Anyways, the Lord told me to pray for one of the guys there who was like a big football guy. And anyways, I was just praying over him. And I was just, I forget what I was honestly praying. But at one point in the prayer, I was like, man, like you remind me of David. I feel like the Lord's even highlighting the name David and stuff like that. And he didn't give any emotion. So I was just kind of like, oh, I hope this really resonates with him. And I feel like the Lord's bringing up male leaders, so I feel like that's always a word that I give out because it's like it's so true. We need so many more leaders. Anyways, I was just praying what I felt like the Lord had on him and over him, and then afterwards he's like, "You don't even understand what you just prayed over me. Like, my mom and my parents just got divorced this past year, and my dad, whose name is David, he's like, I don't think you understand how like." I never hear that name, and just you speaking that name was like crazy. How'd you even know? Like, I'm like, I didn't. I feel like, I don't know. The Lord was speaking though, and he was like, yeah, like, I can't even believe you knew that. Like, I don't even know that. Like, me even hearing that name was, like, crazy. And so he was like, it's nuts because my dad just, like, stopped all contact just this past year. And so I was just like, wow, can I pray for you again? And then I just spoke that. I was just praying over him how the Lord would reconnect him and his dad and speak life into that situation. But, yeah, it's been so good. I've been seeing so much freedom in students, and, like, just to see, like, even the students at the schools who are on fire for the Lord. I'll share one more. I lied. The first school we went to, before we had the rally, we did evangelism with them. And it was the coolest thing. I was partnered with 2 guys, and it was the first time, like, any of them have done evangelism, like, outside of, like, school and, like, telling somebody that Jesus loves them. And it was just fired me so up. Let me restart. It just... it had me so fired up to see these kids on fire for the Lord and for the first time sharing their faith boldly. I remember we were in like a mall, and I went up to these guys and I was like, hi, do you guys know who Jesus is? And here they didn't speak any English. So I pulled out my Google Translate, and I'm like trying to Google Translate that Jesus loves them. And then I Google Translate, hey, can we pray for you? And he's like, sure. The one guy I was with, he's like, I'd love to pray for him. I'm like, oh yeah, absolutely, bro. And so I said, can we pray for you? And he said, yes. And so we closed our eyes, us 3 guys doing ministry, and we put our hand on his shoulder after asking. And I'm like, all right, he's going to do a great job. You know, he hasn't done this too often, but he's going to do amazing. And here he starts praying in Spanish, and I, like, lost it. I was like, this guy's going for it. And, like, he's just praying a blessing over him. I had no idea what he was saying because I don't speak Spanish. But it was just really cool to see, like, the students just grabbing a hold of it and going for it. So, yeah, I can't wait to see what the Lord has. I mean, I'm just like 1.5 weeks in out of months to go. So, it's been exhausting, but it's been so fulfilling. So keep me in your prayers. You guys have blessed me so much financially and stuff like that. But yeah, keep me in your prayers. Just like, it is a lot. We're moving around to a bunch of different states, like every other week. And so I'd love if you guys could pray for energy over me and my team. But yeah, I really appreciate all the prayers. I appreciate all the finances you guys have given me. If you want to donate some more, I have it in my EquipNet, in my Instagram bio, I think. And maybe in my YouTube bio. I don't know. But it'd be better if you look me up on Instagram, honestly. But I do videos on on YouTube, because it's just easier than writing a newsletter. It's longer, but I hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry, I was on a tangent there. But yeah, if you follow me, I think it's like Jude Weaver 3 or something like that, one word, on Instagram. It's Jude Weaver 5. So if you want to follow me on there and donate, I would love that. But yeah, other than that, I'm super thankful for you guys. Keep me in your prayers. And if you want to reach out to me, I'd love to be praying for you too. I love praying for people back home, friends, family. Even I've been praying for some other people's friends and family. So yeah, if you guys keep me in your prayers, I would love to pray for you as well. So feel free to reach out. All right, thank you guys. See ya.